to Wrecking Electric. Here's a full version. We're going to be fully testing this system over here, including a 10 kilowatt bank of EG4 LL batteries. If you press that button, the screen will light up. And we are currently charging these batteries and discharging at the same time as we're right now plugged into a house load. So we'll show you here the Victron Cerbo GX is located right here, and over here you can see AC loads. We got 665 watts because of a heat gun running. We're charging about 2100 watts, so hopefully it don't break the breaker here in a minute because they're really pushing the grid here. And 26 watts of solar. And if you go here, we got the batteries, closed loop communication. So you can see EG4LL, 83% charged, the voltage and the current right now going into batteries. And if you click on this, you can see the details, and you can see all this information, including 2 battery modules online and 0 offline. And what this shows you is that with these batteries, you don't have to go ahead and purchase the expensive one and another expensive one. What we do is we supply you with one of the more expensive modules with a screen, and the second, less expensive one will talk to the one with the screen. We will do this with the 12 volt and 24 volt versions only. Anything 48 volt, we must supply you with this because we need CSA approval. So that's our EG4 for RVs and cabins, 24 volts or less. Okay, now we're just going to turn this off because I'm really pushing my garage outlet right now. We only have 15 amps and we were pushing over 2.1 kilowatts through it, so we don't want to trip a breaker. But this is how we designed this system. Right here, for your RV, you bring your shore power into here. And what I've done is just temporarily connected a regular outlet for now until this 30 amp breaker. So that's for your 30 amp shore power in. This goes in to the inverter, and then it goes out, and there's a fuse in here that it comes through, and then another fuse again that it comes out of, and then back into the inverter. So that's your DC connections. And so basically you got your battery going through one big fuse, 300 amp, and then another coming out, and then going back into your inverter. So there's 2 fuses that we supply. You do not need to do this. If you decide to go with DC to DC charging, you can go ahead and put a DC to DC charger here and just connect the batteries straight to these points here. And you'll be fine with that because the batteries all have built-in breakers and built-in protection here. The BMS will protect it as well as the main fuse coming out of the batteries. So you have double protection. Okay, so that's that. And we've supplied with this system 150/60 Victron charge controller, which gives you the full output of those 2 solar panels right over there. These 2 panels are Longy 405 watt panels. These are really tough. They're not going to break on you. They're commercial, industrial related. I actually lay on these. They're that strong. So they're really good solid panels. So we're going to run this system through its paces today. What we're going to do is, first we want to show you that we did get the closed loop communication running through the Cerbo GX, and it is talking to the EG4LL, and then from this battery it communicates with that battery. And that's why when you look at the Cerbo GX Touch 50 here, it shows you that we have 2 battery modules online. So it is communicating to both, and if you look any further, it'll show you that we have an 800 amp battery capacity. And what we've done is we've set the Victron Cerbo to the DVCC setting, and you see external control here. And what that does is now the battery BMS is controlling how much it wants to charge the batteries or discharge. So the batteries are now in control of the inverter. Okay, And the next segment, we will show you some tests. Links distributor, the way we've wired it here. So we were describing it a bit earlier. These small wires have a fuse on them, and they power the Cerbo GX right here. So these wires are fused, and it's only 12 volts, so I don't mind touching it. Okay, this one here, you will get a 60 amp fuse with it. This can control, actually power, all your RV loads, your 12 volt RV loads. So disconnect your RV battery, 12 volt RV battery from wherever it's connected. Connect your positive to here. We will supply you the fuse here, and the negative just goes here at the bottom. This is all your proper grounding. All this equipment, as you can see there, here. I used this as a spare stud. It was just easier, but it's still the same ground bus. You're allowed to do this. And it goes to the 60 amp charge controller right on the side there. That's where the ground is, right there. It's kind of hard to see, but right there. Yeah. So that's how we ground it. So what happens is, we get the power from the battery, and we bring it in through a 300 amp fuse here. And then it comes out through a 300 amp fuse, and then to the inverter. You do not need to use both of these. So what we could do is we could physically connect the inverter if we wanted to here. And we could use this if you wanted DC to DC charging. We're just waiting for the new charger to come out from Victron. It will be a 50 amp charger. We'll charge this battery back way quicker than their little 30 amp. Then we just put a 50 amp fuse, 2 wires, bring it into this unit right here. This can be removed and put inside your RV so that you have all this inside your RV. So that's how this links distributor works, and that's how we designed this, so it's expandable. You can add more pieces later on if you like. And we did it on a nice carpet, nice felt, so that it looks really neat, nice and tidy in the basement of your. We're going to do some tests here. We got both EG4 LLs connected, so they're both supplying power to this board, and we're running an older compressor with a pretty high surge rating. So we're going to try to see with both batteries, can we start this compressor? Yes, we can. The compressor is running. Can we add 1500 watts of load? Inverter is going to alarm because we're overloading the inverter. We are now over 2600 watts. We're going to drop it to 2500, 2000 watts. The overload's gone and the inverter is happy. So we're good to go here. You can run a compressor and a heat gun at the same time. Now we're going to do another test while we're here. The heat gun is running, and with the heat gun running, there's quite a surge here. We're going to try to start the compressor again. And yes, it struggled a little bit, but it will start it. So we're good. Now, we're going to put these EG4s through the test here. We're going to turn off one battery. And let's see if the surge capacity on this can run this and start the compressor. Yes, we can. We have enough battery capacity that we can start the compressor. That works. Okay. What we're going to do is turn this battery on and just wait for it to power up. And we're going to turn this battery off. So we have breaker off, that off, and we're running just on the less expensive version. And let's see if that battery is strong enough to start the compressor or if it will kick us out. And it kicked us out. So that's the difference between the two batteries. The version 2 has way more surge capacity than version 1. So if you go with a bunch of these, that's fine, but you won't be able to run the compressor. As you can see, the battery's gone into alarm and the Victron system is shut off. So with just the cheapie, as I call it, or the least Good version 1, EG4LL. No, you cannot start your compressor. But with a better version, yes, you can. So we're going to, I think the battery's trying to reset itself. I'm hearing the inverter trying to kick on and off, so we're just going to shut the inverter off. And I believe the battery should reset itself and restart. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to hit the switch here, turn it off. I've got the inverter switched off to avoid any big inrush. I'm going to turn it back on, and it should reset itself. And here we go. Everything's coming back online. And the inverter is back online as well. Here we go. And we still have the heat gun running on that, which is no problem. The heat gun is called a resistive load. It does not have a big inrush, so it can handle it. It's not an issue. It can just not handle the big surge of a compressor. Or if you've got power tools, whatever in your cabin, we would suggest getting a version 2. It's just a way better battery, way better BMS that can handle way more power. So this concludes our test on the 2 EG4 batteries. We're going to hook this one back in parallel, close the switch, and then we should have communications back to Victron in a minute. Yep, this one's back up. All the lights are green. And if we're here, we're still at 84%. We got the load from the heat gun going. And if you go back to menu here, oh, too slow. And we go to EG4 settings here. And you go here. We should see again 2 online, 0 offline. And let's see here. And there it shows you 800 amp connector capacity. So here we've done the test. Inrush current, in conclusion, any big loads, good version 2. Way more inrush capacity, it'll start your stuff. Version 1 is a nice add-on battery for capacity. You're going to start the generator with Victron. So there's all kinds of settings in here. We're not going to get into all of them right now, but you can tell it to start at, say, once it's down to 20% or 30% or 40% or anything in between. You can tell it not to run at nighttime if you're at a campsite, etc., etc. So there's a lot of functions and functionality that we're not going to get into in this video, but we're going to show how easy it is to run your generator in Victron. So here is the Victron touchscreen, and we're just going to go to here. Sorry, let's go back. Here we can even do it here. Generator not running, so we can just press the start, and then we're going to hit accept, and now the generator should start. 2, 1, 0, start. So now we got the generator. It's just waiting for it to see how clean the voltage is, and then this guy here is now transferring over to bulk charge. And if you go back to your main screen here, again, external control, the BMS is controlling it. The generator is ramping up, and now the generator will just keep running and running and running because you've told it to basically manually start. So we can go back here. Go back to the generator, and we go to stop, and it will time itself out. 3, 2, 1, 0, boom, and the generator is off. So that's how easy it is to start the generator with your touchscreen. You can also do this with your phone, so you do not need to be by your touchscreen. You can do this with your phone or through Victron Remote Portal. That's what's called VRM. You can do this remotely. As long as you have Wi-Fi connected, you can start your generator from anywhere in the world. That's how powerful this Victron system is. So again, start your generator in Victron. We'll go over it again. It's a 2-wire start. You just need to control right here Basically, it's a relay 1, and it's the normally open and common, and that's for your typical 2-wire start generators. And again, we go to start, and we're going to press accept, and then we're going to wait, and it's going to start. And again, you wait. It's looking, Victron is just waiting to make sure there's a clean sine wave. The power isn't dirty, not going to damage any of your stuff. And then in a minute, you'll see this click over to bulk. There you go, now go to bulk. And you hear the generator load being slowly applied. It just does it. It slowly ramps up the current, as you can hear in the generator. Slowly adding load. And if you go back to this page, again, we're now at 1440 watts of charging current. And we'll go back to this screen 2 over. Hit stop. Just in case you hit an accident, you get a cancel. 2, 1. And that's it. And as you can see, there's no power interruption. So if you had a clock radio, something plugged in there, or some sensitive electronics, this thing transfers so fast that you won't even lose your time on your microwave. That's how quickly these things move. Okay, so that is the generator connection for your Victron system. So that's a quick recap of how we did that. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to test the bifacial panel. And if you want to go with me, Tony. Sorry, it's a bit of a wiring mess here, because we have everything plugged in here. But right here, we have one of the brand new Lumera bifacial panels that we're testing right now. And we're getting some nice sunshine right now. So let's see what the panel is producing right now. And then we're going to flip it over. So let's go back to the main screen here. And right now, we're at about 63, 64 watts, give or take. The sun's kind of coming in and out here. So now what we're going to do, Tony's just going to stay right here, and he's going to film that. I'm going to flip the panel upside down because it's a bifacial panel. I'm just going to flip it. Might not be exactly at the same angle, but we're still getting 47 watts. And if you look at the panel over here, it's flipped upside down. So that's the back side of the panel giving you 47 watts. So what these panels are really meant for, if you go with bifacial, is if you're on an RV situation, you gain another 5% of power. Or if you're in snowy climates, you get a lot of reflectance from snow. So if there is snow on the panels themselves, but nothing on the back side, as you can see right here, the back side is producing this power. So yeah, so that's an overcap of our system. We'll just go over this one more time so you guys know what you're getting for your $89.95 is our introductory price on this guy. So what you get is your input breaker, so that's your shore power in at 30 amps. You get your power out, that goes back to your RV panel, and we just put an additional plug with USB-C and USB-A and 2 outlets. We use that for testing, plus you can use that in the bay of your RV. You get the Lynx distributor, and remember, 1000 amp bus bar can definitely handle what these things put out. You've got the Cerbo GX, and you do not get the generator hookup. That's up to you guys if you want to connect your generator. It's just really easy. Unplugs, you just push the buttons, 1, 2, and that's it. And you just plug this guy back in. So that's what you get included with this kit. I'll plug it in a minute. There you go. Pretty easy. So Cerbo GX, and we include the MPT 150-60. So you get the full power from the 2 solar panels included with the kit. You get your touchscreen. You get your inverter charger. And you get your 2 batteries. So 800 amp hours of capacity. So remember, these 2 batteries have just as much capacity as 16 12-volt 100 amp batteries depleted to 50% lead acid. Okay, so it's like equivalent to having 16 panels. So it's quite a significant amount of power. Plus you get 2 of our Longi panels, and you get your gland to bring your wires for your RV in. You get your 8 of these clamps, and you get an inline fuse, and your screws for your clamps, and any wiring, what you need, give us the measurements, so we'll include the wiring for this up to 40 feet, which is plenty for most big RVs. Okay, this is Hans for Viking Electric, and this is our RV pre-built 800 amp hour with 810 watts of solar to run your AC all night long if you're off grid and you can't run your generator. Okay, thank you. Bye.